I've recently interviewed Jennifer Walker on my podcast. There's also a video here on my YouTube channel. The link is below. Jennifer tried to kill herself in her 20s. She was doing a PhD in physics, but in the middle of her research of her doctoral studies, she realized that she didn't want to be a scientist. And she got depressed. She tried to commit suicide, but then she started asking for help. And she then found the thing that made her want to live again. These are her words. I found the thing that made me want to live again, and that was writing. Today, Jennifer is a professional art, culture, and travel writer. As I said in the podcast, she has her work has been published in highly esteemed publications, magazines, and newspapers like BBC, Lonely Planet, National Geographic, and many others. And today I wanted to share with you what I learned about being a writer from her. So what her story taught me about writing and being a writer. Three main things. The first one is that become a writer. You cannot become a writer if you don't believe you are one. So before talking to Jennifer, I used to believe that writers are people who get paid for writing. So to me, a writer was Stephen King. Stephen King is a writer because he gets paid for his books. J.K. Rowling, okay, another famous writer. Bloggers, paid bloggers, paid copywriters, ghostwriters, journalists. These are all writers because they write things and they get paid for their words. And I get paid, yes, because I write for language learning websites. So they say they give me articles to write. I write them and I get paid. I wrote a book, any language you want, and I self-published that book. So I always thought, am I a writer? Could I introduce myself as one? So can I say, all right, hello, I'm a writer? Or because I don't make 100% of my income, because 100% of my income doesn't come from writing, so I also teach English. Can I say that I'm a writer? Well, Jennifer suffered from the same imposter syndrome, let's say, because she didn't see herself as a writer. But then she talked to a Swiss entrepreneur who asked her, how often do you write? And how often do you think about writing? And she said, almost all the time. So you're a writer, this man said to her. Accept that identity and the rest will come. From that day, Jennifer made a mindset shift. So she started believing that she was a writer. Everything changed. And what did that lead her to do? Strange question. So what happened after that? Basically, she started acting with more intention. So she started to looking for jobs. She started to writing jobs, even unpaid writing jobs. She volunteered as an intern writer for the summer. I think, it was summer in Georgia. And basically, the day she started believing she was a writer, she became one. So now, I think differently now. Now I see myself as a writer because I don't need qualifications, okay? I don't need a creative writing degree. in order to become a successful writer full-time. I don't need any special degree, okay? I see myself as a writer for two main reasons. One, I write. And two, I now believe I'm a writer. So this is the mindset shift that I made as well, that I had as well. And this is what makes me feel confident now. I'm still working on it, okay? It doesn't happen like this. Also for Jennifer, it didn't happen in, overnight. It's a process. But now I feel more confident when I write emails to editors. When I say, look, I wrote this. I've already written some blogs, some paid articles, and I can write for you as well. And this is the mindset shift. This is what gives me the confidence to pitch to editors, to publications, and to basically move forward in my career as a writer. I'm still not making 100% of my income from writing, and I don't think I want to have, I want to write full time forever. Not forever, but I still like teaching, especially teaching writing. So this is the first lesson basically that I learned from Jennifer. The second one is, wait, I've got some notes. Oh yes, background. Background is an asset. So before talking to Jennifer, I thought, well, I'm a language teacher. I'm a highly qualified language teacher. Okay, I teach English. I'm also a language learner because I learned English. English is not my first language. So everything that I write must be about learning English, learning languages, teaching languages as well. But Jennifer then, talking to Jennifer, I realized that because she said this, she said, I still suffer from imposter syndrome because my background is, I come from a scientific background. I was studying science, physics. Now I write about Vienna and Budapest and, I write about places. I'm a travel writer. So she said that she doesn't see, she feels like an imposter. But she also told me that this was an advantage for her because she found jobs not because she had a creative writing degree or because she was an expert travel writer at the beginning, especially at the beginning, but she found writing gigs, writing jobs, because she came from that non-literature background. So an editor, she told me, was looking for someone who didn't have an English literature background or a humanities background. He wanted someone with an analytical thinking process. And she was a scientist. She actually completed a PhD program, and that's what the editor wanted in that case. So he said, well, this is super interesting. I don't need someone who can write prose or beautiful sentences. I need someone who can think analytically, and you are the perfect writer for that. So her background was actually an asset for this editor. And well, she's still working on this. She told me on the interview. If you want, you can watch that. But she made me think that now I don't need to write only about language learning or language teaching. I can turn my skills and knowledge in education, in language education specifically, to write about other things, to write for about other topics. I don't know what. I still need to figure this out. But a language education background can give me an advantage over other writers out there. So your background, this is to tell you that your background is an asset, can add value to what you bring to the editors or to the for whoever you write. Okay, so the thinking process here is you come from that background, so how can you turn that into an advantage? It's not a limit. It doesn't impose any limits on you. It's actually something that will, I want to find another word, but I can only think of advantage. Okay, it can benefit you. Okay. Then number 3 is niche, having a niche. Maybe you're familiar with the concept of niching down. So basically, if you niche down, you find something specific, very specific, that you can write about, and you become an expert in that. Okay, so you niche down. Before, I was like, well, why should I write about only one thing? You know, writing is beautiful because I can write about anything I want. I can tell 200 stories. I can write about how I became a teacher. I can write about my travels, my experience in Australia. I can talk about Italy because I'm from Italy. I can tell you about how my grandmother cooks food. You know, there are no, you know, the sky's the limit when it comes to writing. So I thought, well, I can write about anything I want. I want to write about anything I want, otherwise I would get bored. But I can still do that. Jennifer told me, part of my success is down to the specific areas that I write about. 80% of what she writes is about Vienna and Budapest, two cities in the whole world. Okay, so if you want someone if you need a person to write about Budapest, who are you gonna call? Like the Ghostbusters, who are you gonna call? You're gonna call Jennifer because she's the perfect writer for that. What about Vienna? She's the perfect writer for that. She's got experience. She's already published a lot of articles about those two cities. The thing is, now I see myself as I'm still figuring out what to write about. And I now think that there are two main ways to go about writing. I can still write about what I want, okay? And I think you should too, because writing about anything you want is a way to explore topics, is a way to learn about topics, is a way to figure out what you don't like to write about. And you can still do it. You know, we've got Medium, we've got personal blogs, we've got social media. You can write about anything you want there. But if you're trying to become a professional writer, a full-time professional writer, then having a niche, having a specific topic, I think is the way to go. Is the way to go, because no one wants a generic writer. Generic writers are replaceable. How can I expect to be paid more if there are 100 million other writers that can write about what I write? I cannot. But if instead of niching down, we can say specific up, I don't know. If I try to be as specific as I can, so let's say language learning, for example, language learning, adult language education in Italy, or adult language education in Sicily, for example, or I don't know, something more specific, that gives you an advantage. Because who are you gonna call if you want a writer who can write about Sicilian schools, how English is taught in Sicilian schools? Okay, I'm not here to tell you what to do, as always, okay? I'm here to explore topics as we go. I have some notes only here. I've got the 3 points. So become a writer by believing you are one. Background is an asset, and niche. Those are the 3 things that I wrote. But I'm trying to explore with you, and I would like to know what you think as well. Okay, so if you have any comments on this, about these 3 points, these are the main 3 points that I learned by listening to Jennifer's story. And Jennifer is successful. She writes full-time. And so if you want to write full-time as well, maybe it's not your case, but maybe it will be in the future, then finding a niche, I think, as I said, is useful. Is useful and advantageous. What a word. Okay. I hope this is helpful. If you have any, if you learned something different or something else by watching Jennifer's interview, let me know. I'll put all the links in the show notes or in the description of this video, and let me know in the comments. It's still, today is the 27th of December. It's still Christmas time here in Italy, in Europe in general. So I hope you're celebrating. I'm having these days a lot of food, and grandmothers are cooking the impossible, and life is good at this time of the year. I hope you're well, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.